My beloved child, this message did not arrive by accident, and it is not meant for everyone. There is a divine urgency wrapped around this very moment. December 23rd carries a weight in the spirit realm that cannot be ignored. Archangel Michael is stepping forward now, sword drawn, voice clear, because something huge was already approved in heaven for you. A massive financial release has your name on it. The signatures were complete. The timing was set. The doors were aligned. But listen carefully. Before it could fully manifest in your hands, a spiritual thief noticed the movement. This is not fear. This is revelation. Archangel Michael says the blessing was not small. It was not ordinary. It was not just enough. It was $1 million level breakthrough, whether literal money, assets, inheritance, business elevation, or a financial shift that permanently changes your bloodline. And because of its size, because of its destiny weight, it attracted resistance. Something attempted to intercept what was already released. Hear this clearly. What is approved in heaven can be delayed on earth if discernment sleeps. That is why this message says, open this now. Timing matters. Obedience matters. Awareness matters. This is not about panic. This is about positioning. Archangel Michael reveals that the thief did not come through obvious destruction, but came subtly, through distraction, through exhaustion, through doubt, through making you feel like December is just another month and nothing special is happening. But in the spirit, December 23rd is a handover date, a transfer point, a moment where what was held back is now being forced forward. You may have felt strange pressure lately, sudden tiredness, random financial thoughts, old fears resurfacing, even dreams about money, loss, or unfinished business. Those were not random. They were indicators that something valuable was moving close to you. Archangel Michael says, the enemy does not steal what has no value. This blessing is tied to your obedience in hidden seasons. Times when you gave without applause, prayed without answers, trusted without proof. Heaven recorded every sacrifice. And when the measure became full, approval was released. But the spiritual thief assumed you would stay silent, distracted, or unsure of your authority. That assumption was wrong, because you are here now. Archangel Michael is standing guard over this word because he has been assigned to intercept the intersection. The sword you cannot see has already cut off access points that were being used against you. But you must understand your role. Heaven responds when you respond. This is why delay is dangerous right now. Not because the blessing will disappear forever, but because what is delayed can be rerouted. What is ignored can be offered another path, and what is not claimed can be contested. Archangel Michael says the thief tried to use 3 strategies. First, to convince you that it is too good to be true. Second, to make you believe you are not ready. Third, to distract you with smaller battles so you forget the larger victory approaching. If any of these resonate, that means the attack was already identified and therefore neutralized. Now hear the correction from heaven. You are ready because heaven says you are. You are qualified because grace already covered you. And this blessing is not a reward. It is a tool. A tool to free you from cycles. A tool to elevate your influence. A tool to fund assignments you have not even spoken out loud yet. That is why it faced resistance. That is why it required angelic reinforcement. Archangel Michael says there is a window opening, not wide, but precise. Those who recognize it step through effortlessly. Those who hesitate feel like something almost happened but slipped away. You are not meant to be the second group. This is why the message warns, before it's stolen forever. Not because heaven changes its mind, but because attention determines access. When you align your awareness with divine timing, what was contested becomes confirmed. Right now, in the unseen realm, records are being reviewed. Contracts are being overturned. Permissions that were wrongly granted are being revoked. And Archangel Michael is ensuring that what carries your name reaches the correct destination, your hands. But you must stay present. Stay receptive. Stay alert in faith, not fear. December 23rd is not ordinary. It is a checkpoint, a moment of confirmation, a time when heaven says, "Now." And if your spirit feels stirred, if something in you feels both serious and hopeful at the same time, that is the confirmation you asked for. The blessing was approved. The thief was exposed, and the transfer is still active. Do not treat this lightly. Do not rush away. What unfolds next will explain how this release anchors permanently in your life. Beloved one, as this word continues to unfold, Archangel Michael draws your attention to something many overlook when divine wealth is near. The atmosphere around you begins to change before the manifestation appears. This is why the last few days may have felt unusually intense. Not chaotic, but heavy with meaning. Heaven does not move loudly when it releases large provisions. It moves with authority and precision. And right now, authority is being reestablished around your finances. Archangel Michael says that when the approval was stamped in the spiritual realm, a signal went out. Not to harm you, but to alert all systems, visible and invisible, that a transfer was in motion. That is why conversations around money may have surfaced unexpectedly. Bills, opportunities, ideas, even old financial memories may have risen up. These were not distractions. They were indicators that alignment was happening. The thief attempted to confuse you by making it feel overwhelming, hoping you would withdraw your faith at the very moment it was required to stand firm. Understand this clearly. Spiritual theft rarely looks like robbery. It often looks like delay, discouragement, or indecision. It whispers, "Wait until next year, where you can deal with this later." But Archangel Michael says later was never part of heaven's plan for this release. The timing was set for now because your capacity has grown. You have learned restraint, wisdom, and discernment through seasons where money was tight but faith was strong. That maturity is what qualifies you to steward what is coming. There is another truth being revealed. This financial release is not arriving alone. It is connected to clarity. Confusion cannot coexist with this blessing. That is why anything unclear in your financial life is being exposed. Subscriptions, agreements, habits, even relationships that drain more than they give. Archangel Michael is not only protecting the blessing, he is preparing the container. A cracked vessel cannot hold overflow. So if you have felt prompted to reorganize, to check accounts, to revisit plans, that is not pressure, it is preparation. Archangel Michael also speaks of restoration. Some of this money represents your payment. Time when you were underpaid. Energy you invested without return. Resources you poured into others who never acknowledged it. Evan Kepweru. And now, repayment is being authorized in ways that may surprise you. It may not come from the direction you expect, but it will arrive with peace, not stress. If peace is missing, it is not the final form of the blessing. You may be wondering why this resistance was allowed at all. Archangel Michael answers plainly. Opposition exposes value. If there had been no resistance, you might have underestimated what you were receiving. Now you know this is not ordinary. Now you will guard it differently. Now you will ask better questions and make wiser decisions. The attempted theft did not weaken you, it sharpened you. This is also a moment of agreement. Heaven has released, but agreement on earth accelerates manifestation. Agreement is expressed through gratitude, expectation, and action. Speak as if provision is normal, not rare. Think as if increase is part of your design, not a fluke. Act as someone who believes that God is consistent, not occasional. Archangel Michael says agreement closes doors that prayer alone sometimes leaves open. As this message resonates, it is important that you do not keep it to yourself. When you engage, you anchor the word. Take a moment to show your agreement visibly. Like this message, so the signal of faith is released. Share it with someone who needs confirmation that their season is changing. Leave a comment declaring that you are aligned with this word. Subscribe to this channel and join the community that is standing in expectation together. If this space has been feeding your spirit, consider joining the membership so you remain connected to what heaven is revealing consistently. Engagement is not about algorithms alone. It is about participation in the flow. Archangel Michael also reminds you that faith grows where attention goes. If you treat this moment casually, it will feel distant. If you treat it intentionally, it will feel close. There is a reason you were guided to stay through this message. Something in your spirit recognized the frequency of truth. That recognition is already opening doors you cannot see yet. In the days immediately ahead, watch for unusual favor. Reduce resistance. A conversation that shifts everything. An idea that will not leave you alone. You not dismiss small confirmations. Large blessings often announce themselves quietly. Stay grounded. Stay thankful. Stay alert without becoming anxious. Archangel Michael is on assignment, and when he stands guard, nothing meant for you goes missing. Hold on, because what is about to be revealed next will connect the spiritual approval to very real, practical steps, and you will be glad you stayed attentive for it. Chosen one, there is a deeper layer to this message that Archangel Michael now brings into the light, because financial release does not stand alone. It always follows a spiritual verdict. What you are experiencing is not just provision, it is vindication. Heaven has reviewed your journey, weighed the battles you fought in silence, and issued a ruling in your favor. This is why the atmosphere around you feels serious yet hopeful at the same time. You are standing in a moment where justice is speaking louder than struggle. Archangel Michael reveals that the attempted theft was allowed to come close so you could see how protected you truly are. The enemy was permitted to approach, but not to touch. That alone should tell you how strong the covering over your life has become. There was a time when interference could delay you for months or years. That season has ended. Your spiritual authority has matured, and now resistance is intercepted quickly. What once lingered is now cut off swiftly. His blessing also carries instruction, not control, but wisdom. Archangel Michael says the release will require discernment in how you move, who you trust, and what you agree to. Wealth without wisdom drains. Wealth with wisdom multiplies. That is why you are being slowed down internally even as things speed up externally. Heaven is teaching you to pause before reacting, to listen before deciding, to pray before signing. This is not restriction. It is refinement. You may notice that certain desires are changing. Things you once wanted no longer excite you. Other things suddenly feel urgent and important. This shift is intentional. The blessing is aligning you with purpose, not ego. Archangel Michael says this money will not control you. It will serve you. And more importantly, it will serve the assignment attached to your life. That assignment is bigger than comfort. It includes impact. There is also healing happening alongside provision. Financial stress leaves scars, fear of loss, fear of not having enough, fear of starting again. Archangel Michael is addressing those fears now, because fear opens doors the enemy can use later. That is why peace is being restored before abundance fully arrives. If you feel calmer even before circumstances change, that is confirmation. Peace is the first installment. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that December 23rd marked a turning of keys. Old limitations lost authority. New permissions were granted. What you could not access before is now within reach. But access does not mean haste. You are being invited to walk, not run. To steward, not splurge. To listen, not rush. The blessing is secure, but your choices will determine how long it remains multiplied. Here is another revelation being released now. The thief did not only try to steal money, it tried to steal your confidence. It wanted you to doubt your discernment, to second-guess your intuition, to feel unsure when clarity was actually present. The tactic has been exposed. From this point forward, trust the quiet knowing inside you. Archangel Michael says your intuition has been sharpened. What feels off is off. What feels right carries peace. Do not override that for convenience. You are also being repositioned socially. Some connections will fade naturally. Others will strengthen unexpectedly. This is not loss. It is alignment. The blessing cannot thrive in environments that misunderstand your calling. Archangel Michael is removing you from tables where you were tolerated and seating you where you are valued. Pay attention to who celebrates your progress without competition. Those are safe spaces. As this part of the message settles, there is a moment of response required. Not striving, but agreement. When heaven speaks, response anchors the word. That is why Archangel Michael now invites you into a simple but powerful activation. Tap I receive divine security in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 834 has just been released. And now, hear this gently but clearly. If this message has found you at the exact moment you needed confirmation, it is not only for you. It is meant to travel through you. I am speaking to those who feel the weight of responsibility in their spirit. The word says that when seed is sown into good ground, it produces a harvest far beyond what was planted. This channel exists to release light into places still wrapped in confusion, to warn before loss, and to confirm before breakthrough. The same God who approved your financial release is saying, partner with what I am doing. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is waiting in the description. You are not giving to a platform. You are sowing into souls that are one message away from hope. I feel led to tell you directly, your obedience in this moment will echo back to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic act. As you give, I speak blessing over your finances. May every door of provision open wider. May every stolen season be restored. May your harvest overtake your sowing. Do it now. Step into agreement. Release the seed, and watch what heaven releases next. Beloved child, as this message continues, Archangel Michael now turns your attention to what happens after heaven issues a verdict but before the full manifestation becomes visible. This is the corridor season. It is the space between approval and arrival. Many misunderstand this phase and misinterpret silence as absence. But silence, in this case, is structure being built. Heaven is arranging details with precision, and precision takes focus, not noise. Archangel Michael says that during corridor seasons, faith is refined. You may notice that outward excitement settles into inward confidence. You are no longer begging for proof. You are simply aware that something is done. This calm is not resignation. It is certainty. The enemy often attempts one final tactic here: impatience. He urges you to force outcomes, to rush decisions, to grab shortcuts. But shortcuts compromise what is meant to last. That is why you are being gently restrained, not denied. This corridor is also where identity is tested. Are you someone who believes only when you see, or someone who moves because heaven has spoken? The financial release attached to your life requires you to see yourself differently. Not as someone hoping for a break, but as someone entrusted with responsibility. Archangel Michael says your mindset is being upgraded to match the scale of what is coming. Old mental limits cannot manage new levels of provision. You may feel prompted to revisit goals you once abandoned. Ideas that felt unrealistic before may now feel practical. A shift is intentional. Provision follows vision. If vision remains small, abundance feels heavy. But when vision expands, provision feels purposeful. Archangel Michael is breathing on dormant dreams, not to overwhelm you, but to remind you that they were delayed, not denied. There is also protection being reinforced around your words. Complaints, even casual ones, weaken alignment. Gratitude strengthens it. This does not mean you cannot be honest with God. It means you are being invited to speak with awareness. Words are agreements. When you speak lack, you echo fear. When you speak trust, you echo heaven. Archangel Michael says watch your words in this season, because they carry unusual weight. Another truth emerges now. The blessing is designed to outgrow you. That may sound strange, but it means what you receive will require systems, structure, and wisdom beyond what you have used before. That is why you are being taught discipline now. Budgeting, planning, learning. These are not mundane tasks. They are spiritual training. Heaven often prepares the hands before it fills them. You may also experience moments of reflection about past financial mistakes. This is not condemnation. It is instruction. Archangel Michael says heaven is showing you what not to repeat. Wisdom remembers without reliving pain. Do not shame yourself for what you did not know then. You did the best you could with what you had. Now you know more, and more is being entrusted to you. Relationships with money itself are being healed. Money is no longer your security, nor is it your stress. It becomes a tool, a servant, not a master. This shift frees you. When money no longer controls your emotions, it loses power to control your decisions. That freedom is necessary for the level of influence you are stepping into. There is also an invitation to rest. Rest is not an activity, it is trust expressed physically. If you have felt drawn to slow down slightly, to sleep better, to breathe deeper, honor that. Rest signals to heaven that you believe the work is being done without your anxiety. Archangel Michael says anxiety is not a sign of diligence, it is a sign of misplaced responsibility. As this corridor season continues, signs will appear quietly. A confirmation here, a small win there. These are anchors, not the full picture. Do not despise them. Celebrate them. Celebration acknowledges progress and invites more. Heaven responds to recognition. Most importantly, know this: nothing is being lost in the waiting. Everything is being secured. The blessing is not slipping through cracks. It is being fortified. Archangel Michael stands watch, not only over the destination, but over the journey itself. And as long as you remain aligned, nothing meant for you will arrive damaged, delayed beyond purpose, or diminished in value. Stay steady. Stay receptive. The corridor leads somewhere, and that place is already prepared for you. My dear one, Archangel Michael now speaks about the unseen negotiations that have been taking place on your behalf. While you have been moving through ordinary days, extraordinary adjustments have been happening behind the veil. Heaven has not been idle. Every delay you questioned, every closed door you could not understand, was part of a larger recalibration. What you are stepping into requires precision, and precision requires removal of interference. Archangel Michael reveals that some paths you almost took would have limited the blessing. They looked good, even promising, but they carried hidden ceilings. Had you entered too early, the provision would have been capped, managed by systems not designed to support its growth. That is why certain opportunities fell apart at the last moment. It was not rejection, it was redirection. Heaven refused to let you settle for less than what was approved. There is also something important being corrected now, your relationship with timing. You were trained by past seasons to expect delay, to brace yourself for disappointment, to lower expectations so it would hurt less. That survival mindset helped you endure, but it cannot help you receive. Archangel Michael says you are being retrained to expect fulfillment, not frustration. This retraining feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, because hope requires vulnerability. But vulnerability is where faith becomes active. You may notice your prayers changing. Less begging, more listening. Less explaining, more trusting. This is growth. It signals that you no longer see God as distant, but as present. The financial release is not meant to pull you away from God. It is meant to deepen intimacy. That is why you are being invited into conversations, not transactions. God is not buying your obedience. He is rewarding your alignment. Another layer is being addressed now: generational patterns. Archangel Michael says this blessing confronts cycles that ran through your family line. Scarcity, debt, fear of risk, mistrust of abundance. These patterns are being interrupted. What you receive is not only for your comfort, it is for legacy. Your decisions will echo forward. That is why wisdom feels heavy right now. You are sensing the weight of impact, and that is a sign of readiness. You may feel moments of solitude, even if surrounded by people. This is not isolation, it is consecration. Archangel Michael says your spirit is being set apart temporarily so you can hear clearly. Noise confuses direction. Stillness sharpens it. Do not fear these quieter moments. They are not emptiness. They are space being created for clarity. There is also an increase in discernment around trust. You are becoming more selective, less reactive. This is not hardness, it is maturity. The blessing cannot be managed by everyone. Not everyone needs access to your plans, numbers, or next steps. Privacy protects momentum. Archangel Michael says some victories grow best in silence until they are strong enough to stand on their own. You may also experience an unusual confidence rising, not arrogance, but steadiness. Situations that once intimidated you no longer carry the same weight. This confidence is not self-generated. It is the result of spiritual backing. When you know heaven stands behind you, fear loses its voice. This confidence will open doors that skill alone could not. Another truth now surfaces. The blessing will require stewardship decisions quickly once it begins to manifest. That is why clarity is coming before cash, systems before surplus, understanding before increase. Do not interpret preparation as delay. Preparation is evidence that arrival is near. Heaven does not train for something that is not coming. Archangel Michael also addresses disappointment from the past. Promises that felt broken. Words that seemed unfulfilled. He says some of those were real, but mistimed. Others were incomplete, meant to stretch you, not settle you. Release resentment toward those moments. Holding on to past disappointment clouds present discernment. What is coming now carries no confusion. You will feel clean, peaceful, and aligned. Pay attention to repeated thoughts or ideas that keep returning with clarity, not anxiety. Those are instructions forming. Write them down. Sit with them. Pray over them. The blessing will not just arrive as money. It will arrive as direction. Direction tells you where to place what you receive so it multiplies rather than drains. Most importantly, Archangel Michael reminds you that you are not behind. You are not late. You are not catching up. You are arriving exactly on schedule according to heaven's calendar. What felt like lost time was actually development time. Roots were growing where you could not see them. And now, because the roots are deep, the fruit will be lasting. Remain steady in this awareness. The ground beneath you is shifting in your favor. What was once unstable is becoming solid. What once felt uncertain is gaining definition. And what was approved is moving closer to manifestation with every aligned step you take. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now draws your focus to the moment just before visibility breaks forth. This is often the most sensitive phase, because faith is no longer theoretical. It becomes directional. You are no longer simply believing, you are being guided. Heaven is not only releasing provision, it is inviting partnership. What comes next will require your participation, not your striving. Archangel Michael says you are entering a season where decisions carry multiplied weight. Small choices will have larger consequences, not because of pressure, but because momentum has increased. When momentum increases, direction matters more than speed. That is why you may feel prompted to pause before responding, to think before agreeing, to pray before acting. These pauses are not hesitation, they are protection. You may notice that distractions are losing their appeal. Things that once consumed your attention now feel empty. This is not boredom, it is alignment. When purpose sharpens, noise fades. Archangel Michael explains that your focus is being refined because the blessing requires clarity. Confused focus leads to scattered outcomes. Clear focus leads to sustained growth. There is also an invitation to review your inner circle, not to judge but to discern, who encourages wisdom, who respects boundaries, who celebrates your growth without comparison. The blessing does not require you to cut people off harshly, but it does require you to adjust proximity. Access is not rejection, it is stewardship. Not everyone needs front row seating in the next chapter of your life. Another truth surfaces here. The enemy's strategy shifts when theft fails. When interception is blocked, intimidation is attempted. You may feel subtle pressure to rush, to prove, to announce prematurely. Resist that urge. Archangel Michael says quiet confidence frustrates opposition more than loud declarations. Let results speak when the time is right. Your prayers may also feel different now. More precise. Less emotional, more intentional. This is not dryness. It is maturity. You are learning to pray from authority, not desperation. Authority speaks calmly because it knows it is backed. Archangel Michael says heaven responds quickly to prayers spoken from alignment. As the financial release approaches tangible form, you may experience tests of patience. Not denial, but timing checks. Will you compromise peace for speed? Will you settle clarity for convenience? These moments are not meant to trip you. They are meant to train you. Passing them ensures longevity of the blessing. There is also joy returning in unexpected ways. Simple moments feel richer. Gratitude flows more easily. This joy is not dependent on circumstances. It is a signal that your spirit recognizes alignment. Joy strengthens endurance. It keeps you steady when visibility is still forming. Archangel Michael also highlights the importance of honoring what feeds your spirit in this season. Messages that confirm, spaces that encourage, communities that remind you of truth. These matter. That is why staying connected here is not random. If this word has been steadying you, grounding you, or clarifying you, respond to that connection. Like this message to anchor your agreement. Share it so others who are waiting in uncertainty can receive clarity. Leave a comment declaring your trust in divine timing. Subscribe so you remain aligned with what is being released consistently. If you feel led, join the membership and stand with this growing community of believers who are choosing discernment over distraction. This is also a moment to remember that faith is communal. What you engage with shapes what you expect. When you surround yourself with expectancy, your own expectancy strengthens. When you invest attention in truth, truth invests stability in you. Archangel Michael says something important now. Do not interpret the quiet as inactivity. Silence is not stagnation. Silence is often evidence that everything is proceeding according to plan. The loudest work happens where human interference is minimal. Trust the quiet. Trust the order. Trust the timing. In the natural realm, watch for practical shifts. Emails, messages, ideas, meetings. Nothing dramatic at first, but purposeful. Respond with wisdom, not urgency. Ask questions. Seek understanding. You are no longer reacting. You are stewarding. If you have stayed with this message so far, there is a reason. The next revelation ties everything together in a way that brings clarity to both the spiritual and the practical. Hold on, because what is coming next will help you recognize the exact moment when preparation turns into possession. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks of the threshold moment, the subtle yet unmistakable shift when preparation gives way to possession. This moment rarely announces itself with noise. Instead, it arrives with recognition. You will not need convincing, you will simply know. The confusion that once surrounded your finances will dissolve, replaced by a clear sense of direction. This clarity is not emotional excitement, it is settled knowing. Archangel Michael explains that many miss this threshold because they are looking for dramatic signs, while heaven moves through alignment. Alignment feels natural, even ordinary, yet carries extraordinary results. When the blessing begins to manifest, it will not feel foreign. It will feel like something that was always meant to fit into your life, now finally in the right place. That sense of this makes sense is one of the strongest confirmations you will receive. There is also a recalibration of effort happening now. You are learning where to apply energy and where to withdraw it. Not everything deserves your attention anymore. This is not loss of passion, it is focus. When provision increases, precision must increase with it. Archangel Michael says scattered effort leaks momentum, but intentional effort multiplies it. You are being trained to recognize what produces fruit and what merely consumes time. You may notice that your tolerance for chaos has decreased. Disorder, rushed decisions, emotional reactions, these no longer feel acceptable. This is not intolerance, it is stewardship. Order attracts increase. Where there is structure, growth feels safe to land. That is why you are being nudged to organize, to plan, to simplify. Simplification creates space. Space allows expansion. Another layer emerges now, discernment around motives. You are becoming more aware of why you want certain things. This awareness protects you from pursuing what looks profitable but lacks purpose. Archangel Michael says the blessing will not chase empty ambition. It follows intention aligned with calling. When your motives are clear, opportunities align more easily. There is also healing in how you view success. Success is no longer something you chase to prove worth. It becomes something you steward to express purpose. The shift removes pressure and replaces it with responsibility. Responsibility may sound heavy, but in truth, it brings peace. When you know why you have what you have, you are no longer anxious about losing it. Archangel Michael speaks now about discernment and timing. Yes, because you can move does not mean you should move immediately. Patience here is not delay, it is accuracy. Accuracy ensures that when you act, the ground supports you. This is why you may feel a strong sense of readiness paired with calm restraint. That balance is rare, and it is a gift. You may also find that your conversations are changing. You speak less about problems and more about solutions. Less about fear and more about planning. This shift is evidence that your mind is aligning with provision. The way you talk reveals what you expect. Archangel Michael says your words are now catching up to what heaven has already approved. There is also a reminder about humility. Increase does not require you to shrink others or elevate yourself. True authority does not need to announce itself. It is recognized through consistency, integrity, and calm confidence. Remain teachable. Remain grateful. Gratitude keeps the flow open. Pride restricts it. As you stand near this threshold, old temptations may resurface briefly, not because they have power, but because they are losing relevance. This is a common sign that transition is near. Do not revisit what you have already outgrown. Closure does not require explanation. Sometimes it requires movement. Archangel Michael assures you that the blessing is now protected by layers of wisdom, not just power. Wisdom knows where to go, when to pause, and when to act. Power without wisdom is dangerous. Wisdom with power is transformative. You are receiving both. There is also encouragement regarding patience with yourself. You do not need to master everything immediately. Growth will be progressive. Learn as you go. Ask for counsel when needed. Heaven supports learning curves when humility is present. Mistakes made in teachability do not disqualify. They instruct. As this part settles, recognize that you are no longer waiting in uncertainty. You are standing in readiness. Readiness does not rush. It recognizes opportunity when it appears. And opportunity will appear, not disguised as stress, but presented as clarity. Remain attentive. Remain grounded. The threshold is not behind you. It is before you. And when you step through it, you will realize that the preparation was not heavy, it was necessary. The next movement will confirm everything you have sensed but could not yet see. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now brings your attention to the sealing phase of this divine process. This is the moment where what was approved, protected, and prepared begins to settle into permanence. Sealing is different from arrival. Arrival can be exciting. Sealing is stabilizing. It ensures that what comes does not slip away, fade quickly, or become a burden instead of a blessing. Right now, heaven is not only giving, you are being established. Archangel Michael says this phase requires internal agreement more than external action. You may notice that things are lining up without excessive effort. Conversations flow more smoothly. Delays resolve themselves. Resistance decreases. This is not coincidence, it is confirmation. When heaven seals a blessing, striving loses relevance. Grace begins to lead. There is also a deep internal correction happening. You are being freed from the fear of losing what you have not even fully received yet. That fear came from past instability, not present reality. Archangel Michael says the blessing arriving now is not fragile. It is reinforced. It is supported by wisdom, timing, and divine backing. You do not need to guard it with anxiety. Anxiety is not protection. Trust is. Another layer is being revealed. His financial release is connected to your voice. Your words, your decisions, your influence will carry more weight going forward. That is why you are being refined in how you speak and respond. Reaction is being replaced with response. Impulsiveness is being replaced with intention. These changes are not random personality shifts. They are preparations for impact. You may feel a stronger sense of responsibility toward others, not out of pressure, but out of compassion. That compassion is healthy when guided by discernment. Archangel Michael reminds you that helping others does not mean rescuing them from every consequence. Wisdom knows when to give, when to guide, and when to allow growth. Your generosity will be most powerful when it flows from clarity, not guilt. There is also an invitation to honor boundaries. Boundaries do not block blessing, they protect it. As provision increases, requests will increase too. Not every request is an assignment. Not every need is yours to meet. Archangel Michael says discernment will keep your resources aligned with purpose instead of being drained by emotion. You may notice that your confidence is quieter now. Less need to explain. Less need to defend. This quiet confidence is evidence of sealing. When something is secure, it does not need constant reassurance. You are no longer trying to convince yourself that things will change. You are simply moving as if they already have. Archangel Michael also speaks about consistency. Small, wise actions repeated over time will matter more than dramatic gestures. The blessing is not designed for a moment. It is designed for longevity. This is why discipline feels important now. Not strictness, but rhythm. Healthy patterns create sustainable increase. There is a warning delivered gently here. You not romanticize struggle once abundance begins to show. Some people cling to struggle because it feels familiar. Familiarity is not safety. Growth requires release. You are allowed to outgrow survival mode. You are allowed to enjoy ease without guilt. Archangel Michael says peace is not laziness, it is alignment. As the sealing completes, heaven invites you into agreement through declaration. This is not superstition, it is participation. Type "I am sealed in divine provision" in the comments if this word is confirming what your spirit already knows. Blessing code 5913 has just been activated. Now, hear this carefully, because this moment matters. If this message has strengthened your faith, clarified your season, or protected you from doubt, it did not come to you by chance. I am speaking directly to those who feel a stirring to help this word reach others standing at the edge of loss or breakthrough. Scripture says that those who sow into good soil will reap a harvest in due season, and I declare that this soil is bearing fruit. This message continues because people like you respond when heaven nudges. When you support through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is placed in the description. You are not funding content. You are fueling confirmation for souls who need it urgently. I sense God saying, "This is seed time." As you give, you are responding to a divine invitation, not a human request. I speak blessing over every giver now. May your obedience open unexpected streams. May your provision become stable, multiplied, and protected. Do not delay. Act in faith. Release the seed now, and watch how heaven seals your harvest with favor, peace, and increase that remains. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks of integration, the stage where what has been sealed begins to weave itself naturally into your daily life. This is where many expect fireworks, but heaven offers familiarity. The blessing integrates so smoothly that one day you pause and realize how much has changed without disruption. This is intentional. Sudden shock can destabilize stewardship. Gradual integration builds mastery. Archangel Michael says you are learning how to live with increase without being ruled by. This is a rare grace. Some receive abundance before they receive balance, and that imbalance creates loss. You, however, are being trained to carry weight without strain. What once felt overwhelming now feels manageable. This is not because the blessing is small, but because you have grown. There is also a reordering of priorities taking place. Time becomes more valuable than impulse. Peace becomes more valuable than approval. Purpose becomes more valuable than appearance. These internal shifts ensure that what you gain externally does not cost you internally. Archangel Michael emphasizes that true prosperity never demands the sacrifice of your soul. You may notice that problems that once consumed your emotional energy no longer have the same effect. This is not detachment. It is perspective. Provision changes perspective. When survival is no longer the focus, wisdom has room to operate. This is why solutions are appearing faster. You are no longer reacting from fear but responding from clarity. Another layer of integration involves trust. Specifically, trusting yourself. For a long time, you second-guessed your decisions because past outcomes taught you caution. Caution protected you, but it also limited you. Archangel Michael says that discernment has replaced caution now. Discernment allows movement without recklessness. You are learning to trust the wisdom that has been formed in you through experience and grace. There is also healing happening around comparison. You are no longer measuring your progress against others. Their timeline does not threaten you. Their success does not diminish yours. This freedom is essential. Comparison distracts from assignment. When your eyes remain on your own path, progress feels steady instead of stressful. Archangel Michael also reveals that part of this blessing includes visibility at the right time. Not exposure before readiness, but recognition when structure is strong. This visibility may come through recommendation, invitation, or opportunity rather than self-promotion. Let it come naturally. Forced recognition fades quickly. Earned recognition lasts. You may feel moments of reflection where gratitude rises unexpectedly. Gratitude is not nostalgia here. It is grounding. It reminds you where you came from without pulling you backward. This balance keeps humility intact while confidence grows. Archangel Michael says humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking accurately about your source. There is also a strengthening of patience in you. Not passive waiting, but active endurance. You understand now that sustainability matters more than speed. Quick gain without structure leads to quick loss. You are no longer attracted to shortcuts. That alone protects the blessing more than effort ever could. Another truth is revealed gently now. The blessing is teaching you leadership, even if you do not yet see yourself as a leader. Leadership is not position. It is influence. Others will observe how you handle increase, how you speak about provision, how you respond to pressure. Your example will speak louder than advice. Archangel Michael says lead quietly at first. Influence grows best when it is authentic. There may also be moments where old fears attempt to resurface briefly, thoughts of what if it doesn't last or what if I lose it. These are echoes, not warnings. Do not entertain them. Stability does not come from mental reassurance. It comes from alignment. And alignment is already in place. Archangel Michael reassures you that nothing you receive now will require you to betray your values. If an opportunity demands compromise, it is not part of this release. The blessing carries peace as confirmation. If peace is absent, pause. Peace is not the absence of challenge, it is the presence of assurance. As integration continues, routines may change. Habits may shift. These adjustments are not disruptions, they are upgrades. Do not resist them. Flow with what feels aligned. Structure will settle naturally if you remain attentive. Most importantly, know this: you are not managing this blessing alone. Heaven remains involved. Guidance will continue. Correction will come gently. Support will be timely. Archangel Michael does not leave once the battle is won. He stands guard during establishment. This phase may feel quieter than the battle, but it is just as important. Battles decide access. Integration determines longevity. You are doing well. Remain present. Remain grounded. The next movement will bring clarity about how this blessing begins to extend beyond you and touch others in ways you did not anticipate. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now speaks of expansion with restraint. This is the phase where increase begins to stretch beyond your personal needs and starts touching systems, people, and environments around you. Expansion sounds exciting, but it requires wisdom to remain stable. Heaven does not expand what is unstable. That is why you are being guided carefully, step by step, rather than rushed forward all at once. You may notice that opportunities are presenting themselves with auctions rather than demands. This is important. Forced opportunities drain discernment. Aligned opportunities invite peace. Archangel Michael says you are no longer in a season where you must grab everything quickly out of fear it will disappear. What is meant for you will remain available until you are ready to steward it well. There is also a refinement happening in how you define success. Success is no longer measured only by accumulation, but by sustainability. Can this grow without costing your peace? Can this bless others without exhausting you? Can this last without constant struggle? These questions are forming wisdom in you. Wisdom is the gatekeeper of lasting provision. Archangel Michael reveals that part of your expansion includes influence through example, not instruction. People will notice how calm you are under pressure, how steady you are in decision-making, how grounded you remain even as things improve. This quiet strength will draw questions, not because you are trying to teach, but because your life becomes a testimony. There is also a deeper understanding settling in now. Abundance does not eliminate challenges. It changes the type of challenges you face. Instead of worrying about survival, you will be discerning direction. Instead of asking how to get by, you will be asking where to invest your energy. These are higher-level questions, and you are being equipped to answer them with clarity. You may feel a growing desire to learn. Learning is a sign of humility, and humility attracts guidance. Archangel Michael says heaven supports those who remain teachable. Seek knowledge where needed. Ask questions without shame. Growth is accelerated when curiosity replaces fear. Another layer of protection is being activated around your focus. Distractions that once pulled you away now feel obvious and unappealing. This is not discipline alone. It is alignment. When purpose sharpens, distractions lose power. Protect this clarity. It is one of the greatest gifts of this season. Archangel Michael also addresses generosity again, but with emphasis on boundaries. Giving is powerful when it flows from obedience, not obligation. You are not required to respond to every need you see. Discernment will tell you where your contribution carries grace. Grace-backed giving produces peace, not resentment. There may also be moments where you are tempted to explain yourself to others who do not understand your decisions. Resist that urge. Not everyone needs context. Some need results. Silence paired with consistency speaks louder than explanation. Archangel Michael says your life will answer questions before your words ever do. As this message continues to build, it is important that you stay connected to what is feeding your discernment. If this word has been grounding you, strengthening you, or helping you navigate this transition with clarity, respond to that alignment. Like this message to anchor your agreement. Share it so others who are standing at the edge of confusion can receive direction. Leave a comment declaring that you trust divine wisdom in this season. Subscribe to this channel so you remain connected to what heaven is unfolding consistently. Your engagement is not casual, it is participation. You are not walking this path alone. There is strength in community, especially when seasons shift. Being connected keeps perspective clear when responsibility increases. Do not underestimate the power of staying aligned with truth-filled spaces. Archangel Michael also reminds you to remain patient with growth. Expansion that is rushed often collapses under its own weight. Expansion that is guided becomes resilient. You are not late. You are not missing out. You are being established properly. There is also a subtle joy returning, the joy of anticipation without anxiety. You are no longer waiting desperately. You are watching attentively. This posture keeps you receptive without becoming restless. Watchfulness is faith in action. If you have stayed with this message until now, there is a reason. What comes next brings everything into perspective and reveals how this blessing begins to move beyond your life into purpose-driven impact. Trust me, this next movement will clarify why timing mattered so much. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks of multiplication with meaning. This is the stage where increase no longer centers only on provision, but on purpose. What hath been building quietly now begins to reveal why it was entrusted to you in the first place. You are starting to see that this blessing was never meant to stop with comfort. It was designed to flow through you with intention. Archangel Michael says there comes a moment when provision asks a question. What will you do with me? Not as a test, but as an invitation. You are being invited to steward influence wisely. Influence does not always look like platforms or applause. Often, it looks like access, credibility, and trust. People begin to listen differently when they sense stability. They may not know why, but they feel it. You may notice that others begin seeking your perspective more often. Not because you claim authority, but because your life reflects order. This is how leadership emerges naturally. Leadership is not declared, it is recognized. Archangel Michael emphasizes that recognition grows when consistency is present. Stay consistent in character. Stay steady in values. Stay aligned in decisions. There is also an awakening of responsibility toward future impact. You may begin thinking beyond immediate needs and toward long-term outcomes. Legacy thought service. Questions about sustainability, continuity, and stewardship arise. This is not pressure. It is perspective expanding. You are being trusted with vision that looks beyond now. Another important truth is revealed here. Multiplication requires delegation. You cannot carry everything alone anymore. That does not mean losing control. It means building support. Support can look like systems, counsel, tools or partnerships. Archangel Michael says refusing help out of fear of dependence can limit growth. Wise partnership strengthens what heaven has started. You may also find yourself revisiting values and refining them. What matters most? What is non-negotiable? These clarifications protect you when opportunities increase. Clear values function like guardrails. They keep momentum moving forward without veering off course. When values are clear, decisions become simpler. There is also healing in your sense of worth. You no longer measure worth by output alone. Rest feels deserved, not guilty. This is important. Burnout sabotages multiplication. Rest preserves it. Archangel Michael says sustainable impact flows from a rested spirit, not an exhausted one. As this stage unfolds, you may experience moments of awe, quiet realizations of how far you have come. Allow those moments. Reflection grounds gratitude. Gratitude anchors humility. Humility keeps the flow open. None of this diminishes confidence. It refines it. There may also be invitations that look good but feel slightly misaligned. This is discernment sharpening. Just because something is profitable does not mean it is purposeful. Archangel Michael says you are being taught to choose alignment over advantage. Advantage fades. Alignment endures. You may feel a deeper compassion for others who are still in seasons you have passed through. This compassion is healthy when paired with wisdom. You are not called to relive their battles, but you may be called to light the path. Sometimes light is guidance. Sometimes it is provision. Sometimes it is simply presence. Let discernment lead how you respond. Another layer now becomes clear. Multiplication does not always mean more activity. Sometimes it means greater impact with less effort. Efficiency replaces struggle. Grace replaces grind. This does not happen overnight, but it begins here, with awareness. Archangel Michael says do not confuse effort with effectiveness. Effectiveness flows from alignment. You are also learning to release control over outcomes. You do your part with excellence and trust God with results. This trust removes anxiety and increases clarity. When outcomes are no longer your burden, decisions become cleaner. There is a subtle but powerful shift happening in how you see yourself. You no longer feel like someone hoping to arrive. You feel like someone already positioned. This sense of positioning changes how you walk into rooms, how you speak, how you listen. Confidence is no longer forced. It is settled. Archangel Michael reassures you that mistakes made in this phase will not disqualify you if humility remains. Growth includes learning. Correction will come as guidance, not condemnation. Heaven is invested in your success because your success serves a greater plan. As this part settles, recognize that you are standing on the edge of completion. Not the end, but the fulfillment of this specific cycle. What began with urgency is now moving toward establishment with clarity. The next movement brings closure, confirmation, and release in a way that ties every thread together. Remain attentive. Remain grateful. The final revelation will bring peace to everything you questioned along the way. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks the final word of this cycle, not as an ending, but as a release into establishment. What began with urgency now settles into assurance. The reason this message carried such weight from the beginning is because heaven wanted you alert, not anxious. Now that alertness transforms into peace. Peace is the evidence that the transfer is no longer contested. It is complete in authority and unfolding in form. Archangel Michael says this is the moment where questions lose their grip. You no longer need to analyze every sign or revisit every delay. The picture is clear enough now to trust the process fully. What once required faith now begins to require stewardship. Faith opened the door. Stewardship keeps it open. This is why your spirit feels calm rather than restless. Restlessness belongs to waiting seasons. Calm belongs to possession seasons. There is a sacred closure happening here. Old fears are being dismissed. Old narratives about struggle, lack, and instability are being rewritten. You are no longer telling the story of what almost broke you. You are living the story of what was built through you. Archangel Michael says testimony is not just what you say later. It is how you live now. This blessing has done its deeper work. It has not only shifted your finances, it has shifted your posture. You stand differently. You decide differently. You trust differently. These internal shifts are more valuable than the numbers themselves, because numbers can change, but posture sustains increase. Heaven always prioritizes what lasts. Archangel Michael also confirms that what hath been released will continue to unfold in layers. Do not expect everything at once. That would overwhelm rather than empower. Expect clarity to increase. Expect favor to meet preparation. What arrives next will always be proportional to your capacity to steward it well. There is also peace about protection. You do not need to guard this blessing aggressively. It is guarded already. Wisdom will alert you when adjustment is needed. Discernment will nudge you before danger appears. You are not walking alone. Angelic assignment does not end when the battle ends. It continues through establishment. You may now feel a sense of gratitude that is quiet but deep. Let that gratitude anchor you. Gratitude keeps pride from creeping in and fear from returning. Gratitude keeps you aware of the source without diminishing the responsibility. Archangel Michael says remain thankful, and the flow remains open. As this cycle completes, there is a final act of agreement. Not because heaven needs it, but because you do. Declaration seals awareness. Type I walk in divine establishment in the comments if you receive this word with peace and certainty. Blessing code 9108 is now activated over your life. Now hear this final instruction, and receive it not as an interruption, but as a continuation of the assignment. This word reached you because someone obeyed before you. Someone sowed. Someone supported. And because of that obedience, this message stood between you and loss, confusion, or delay. I am speaking to you now as one entrusted with increase. The Spirit says, as I have established you, establish others. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is placed in the description. You are not giving money. You are extending the reach of divine warning, confirmation, and hope. This is sowing into living soil. This is lighting lamps for those still walking in uncertainty. I speak directly now. Your support is a prophetic response, not a suggestion. Scripture declares that when you sow generously, you reap generously, and I release that word over every obedient giver. May your resources remain protected. May your increase be sustained. May your household know stability, wisdom, and peace. Do it now. Act in alignment. Release the seed, and let heaven respond in ways that go beyond what you imagine. This cycle is complete. What remains is fruit that lasts.